You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Yeah, baby, got a show that is just chock full of football today.
Finally.
So good to say.
Yes.
Dang. Gonna head up Dolphins training camp. Got a little bit of the college game. Gonna be discussing best quarterbacks this year. Get a little bit into the problems going on with the Yankees. They got some issues.
Drama going on, yeah.
And some interesting insight, too, to Derek Jeter when he played for the Yankees and the way he paid off his gambling debts. May say a lot about how he's running the Miami Marlins.
When I heard the story, it does make a lot of sense now.
Yeah, we'll get into all that stuff coming up here, though. But talking a little bit about Dolphins camp today, I want to bring in John Evanson from CBS 12, who is pretty much in there. From what I understand, he is actually in charge of doing laundry there today. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's got to be a fresh task that you're just probably knee-deep in jock straps right now, I'd imagine.
No, I took care of those. They're all washed.
Oh, it got done
Back to
early.
the players at this point. It has been the perfect day, though. Training camp bright and early, and then I got to scoot over lunch at Sunrise Pita and Grill, best
Nice.
shawarma in the USA. So
Ooh.
I'm full. I'm happy. I've got all my footage, and I'm heading back to the station as we speak.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, yesterday
Yeah.
we talked with your boy Matt Lincoln over there at CBS 12. Got a little bit of insight about the season, about what the Dolphins are looking at, the big question marks, the potential they have. He saw them going maybe as a 7-9 team this year, a little bit in between what they were 2 years ago and I guess a lot of people probably call it the debacle from last year. When you were there today, what was the attitude? What was the tone? I know it's kind of like the overused thing about, okay, who are the leaders going to be? Did you see anybody stepping up? What came out of day one for you, John?
Well, I love it. I thought you said 7-19 there was going to be that. They're going to find 2 ways to lose.
I was going to say, if anybody can lose 19 games in a season, the Dolphins can
That'd be
find a way.
impressive. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, all eyes today absolutely were on, of course, Ryan Tannehill, who they're hoping is not only back healthy, but is going to be the ultimate leader now. And the funny, I guess, anecdote to come out of the day was he may or may not, he has a wanted or unwanted nickname that might come out of day one of training camp, because right on his knee brace there, it was impossible to miss it. It said Tannehill 2.0 right on his knee brace.
Okay.
And everyone obviously assumed that was, that's got to be what the players are calling him now. They've rebuilt him. He's like the $6 million man.
Right.
And when we were asking him about it after, he wouldn't even joke about it. He simply said, no, that's the name of the brace. It's the name of the brace, Tannehill 2.0. That doesn't have anything to do with me, but it was a very fitting thing to see on that knee brace, because he actually did look good. He had a lot of zip in his passes.
Mm-hmm.
He appears to be comfortable. And my gosh, I mean, Gase, he can't talk enough about him. And
yeah, tell me about real quick, John.
Yeah.
Tell me just about Tannehill's mobility, because a lot of people want to know that. I mean, the different tone between last year's camp and this year's camp was last year. I remember he didn't want to get that surgery, and so people were already kind of like, just, ooh, I don't know, how's that thing going to hold up? And I mean, we saw he's running out of bounds last year, and he blows out the knee. So, what did you see? Was he even putting any kind of strain on that knee? Did you see him running out of the pocket into the sidelines, anything like that on day one?
It was typical day one of training camp stuff from him. We didn't notice anything at all out of the ordinary. Of course, there's no pads or anything today. And even the players we asked that, like some of the O-linemen, nobody is going to be going easy on Ryan Tannehill. They said it themselves. See, they consider him 100% healthy. There's no bubble wrap on him whatsoever, and he says the same thing. He feels as healthy as he's ever been, and he's ready to go. I'll say it again, Tannehill 2.0, even though he doesn't want us saying that.
Well, the thing about him, though, that I think a lot of Dolphins fans are worried about is the backup situation. Something does happen to Tannehill. Do they have legitimate confidence in either backup? I mean, is it fails? I mean, who's the next guy?
Let me run through the first 5 plays from Brock today.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler, okay?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Underthrow, false start, interception, overthrow, incompletion.
Oof.
Now, to be kind, he's getting used to the new offense. You could say that. Osweiler did not look comfortable whatsoever.
That's brutal, dude.
Out there today. This is day one,
But come on, man. Come on,
excuses.
man. Day one. I mean,
I
it's not the
know.
first day you've actually thrown with these guys. It's not the first day you
Yep.
picked up a football.
Precisely. It was not a pretty day for Osweiler. And Tannehill, on the other hand, I mean, I'm not trying to pump up Tannehill by any means because there's obviously a lot of question marks there, but there were some great plays specifically between him and Amendola, who,
Okay.
the new guy in town from the Patriots, and it's good to have that veteran target. They hooked up a couple times, maybe 3 or 4 times. One amazing catch. So I don't know if they're kind of showing off to the fans who were there
Okay.
to watch bright and early and teasing them just a little bit. But Tannehill looked a heck of a lot better than any of his backups today.
Good. Well, what about the other backup? Is it Fales? Is that who we got?
Right, David Fales.
David
right?
Fales, yeah. So
Fails, yeah.
I mean, because my question is coming out of camp, could we be looking at Fales actually being the backup and Osweiler, who knows where?
Maybe getting
even
cut?
Maybe even getting cut. Yeah. What do you think about that?
My best guess would be that Gase is going to be stubborn with Osweiler. He's that big name guy that they brought in this
Yeah.
year to back Tannehill up, and they'll probably work. Hopefully he has a better day too. But
Yeah.
even if he continues to have big question marks, Gase is the type of coach who will go into the season with Osweiler, the guy who has more experience, and I'd be surprised to see him go unless he got some playing time and and it just was not working out in game action.
John, today around the NFL, you were seeing quite some entries from some of the players. You might expect Miami guy Antonio Brown. He's got a little bit of that South Beach swagger when he's heading to Pennsylvania for a lovely camp at St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. He takes a sleek black helicopter
I love it.
into first day of training camp. You see some other things going on. In fact, one of their linebackers, Vince Williams, shows up is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's wearing the black studded vest, jean shorts, championship belt.
Love
He's
that.
got a black pickup truck with Austin's iconic theme coming out. Do you see any kind of personality at all from these Dolphins? Any kind of flair that as they were showing up to training camp today?
I'll be honest with you. It was more business as usual day one for these guys today. I mean, it was the one thing that the personality is more in the smiles and the positivity. I know that sounds corny, but Gase, I mean, he had a different tone to his voice today. It was nothing. Usually he's grumbling and mumbling, and usually we're used to seeing him midway through the season. But he insists that this is the closest Dolphins team beyond his expectations. But I didn't see any swag today. They don't let us park anywhere near the fancy Dolphin cars. We're in with the nursing school parking lot there. So yeah,
Sounds
they don't
right.
get us anywhere near. There might have been a helicopter there, but I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, I can't imagine a player that the Dolphins have on the roster right now anywhere close. I mean, Antonio Brown, who's on the cover of
Madden,
and so. But
Yeah.
tell me about this though, because there's some question marks around the defense. Did you get a chance to see anything there? Minka Fitzpatrick, did he do anything today in Dolphins camp?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was also shooting like a fan piece for the news, so I didn't get to totally surgically watch all of practice, but I did witness 2 interceptions. The thing with that is going to be with 2 gone. They've made it clear. I mean, there's basically 5 guys who are going to be in charge of being Ndamukong Suh. I mean, that was probably their fault. They were putting a little bit too much of the workload on Suh, and it really wasn't working out. So it's really going to be 10 different guys there, like a 10-headed monster on the D line. And with the offensive line that Gase is saying is the most improved he's seen, they're going to be going at each other all training camp, and we'll know better in the next few days. Even Gase wouldn't get into telling us what he saw and what he was impressed by and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He just looked at us like we were idiots to ask and said, "Guys, it's day one. Come
day
on,
one. Yeah.
We'll give me a week and I'll have some better stuff for you." You know what I mean?
Very nice.
A couple interceptions today. to be fair, one was from Brock, one was from Tannehill, so it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't all Brock stinking up the place. But
Okay.
I think defense is to be decided.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that's going in the next few days.
John, I really appreciate your shawarma report today. That was in depth.
Yeah, brought to you by Shawarma. I'm at the Woolbright Farmers Market right now, so we can give them a plug as well.
Yeah.
Sounds really
Thank you for
good.
letting me use your parking lot. Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. John Evanson from CBS 12. Thanks for checking in from Dolphins camp today, bud.
Anytime, guys. My pleasure.
Okay. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, more trouble for Michael Irvin. We'll let you know what kind of hot water he is in right now. And I'm going to see if Diener can name the 5 best Dolphins quarterbacks and in order.
Okay.
How would you place that ranking? We'll discuss next.
Yep, he's here too. It's Kevin's Other Show, right here on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, we got the report. Tannehill, day 1, looking pretty sharp. Brock Osweiler, the backup, not so much, having a rough day.
Big
But-
surprise there.
Yeah. And you might be surprised, too, with where Tannehill ranks on the website ranker.com for the best Miami Dolphins quarterbacks ever.
It wasn't kind to him, was it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I want to see
Okay.
if you can run it down, Diener. Now, you're a big old Dolphins fan.
yes,
It's
true.
your team.
Unfortunately.
Let's see how much you know about these guys.
All right.
Going back, what do you think? I'll see how much you can get out of the top 5. This is according to Ranker. So these are people and their favorites. So it's not based on anybody's, stats that they've done. This is, play into, it's going to be stats. Stats is going to equal popularity with the fans. So
Sure.
it's ultimate fan support on this.
Okay.
So if you had to say, who's number 1 best Dolphins quarterback ever?
Jay Fiedler. No, I'm just kidding. It's kind of, well, obviously, it's good old Dan Marino.
Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Okay. But you could have debate, possibly.
I mean, he's number 1.
Okay.
He's number 1.
Okay.
Dan the man.
Number 2, best Miami Dolphins quarterback ever.
This is where it starts to get interesting.
Sure.
Number two, you got to put Bob Greasy, right?
I'll give you Bob
okay,
Greasy.
there we go.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, he was not the starting quarterback when they went undefeated.
Right.
That was Earl Morrall because Bob Greasy got hurt during that season.
Yep.
So, I mean, he was still part of that team.
Okay.
And he led them there.
Man, I'm liking the way you're talking.
See?
You sounded good here. You sounded good.
You're in my wheelhouse right now. It's
Yeah.
Dolphins history.
You're number 3. Third most popular Dolphins quarterback ever.
It's gonna sound funny, but I'm gonna say Jay Fiedler here. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong from what they said, and then I'll give you my reason.
And I was really trying to give you a big old hint by saying I was digging what you were talking about. I thought
is
you
it
were
really
talking
Earl
right.
Morrall?
It's Earl Morrall,
All right.
yeah.
See, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree?
I don't. Because Jay Fiedler, yes, Earl Morrall obviously won the Super Bowl, but Jay Fiedler is the last guy to actually win a playoff game for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
I mean, when we think all the way back, that's what I think it was 2001 when they beat the Colts and they ended up losing to the Raiders in the second round.
You think his cred's a lot more?
At this point, yeah, just because,
Okay.
I mean, the game is so much different back then. Earl Morrall is, obviously the athletes are different in the 70s.
Right.
It's, for me, Fiedler in the modern era, those wins in the modern era is a little bit more relevant now.
Okay, so he's a
that
better
makes
Dolphin
sense.
to you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who else would you put in the top 5 best Miami Dolphins quarterbacks ever?
See, because Fiedler was a starter. Earl Morrall was a backup. So it's hard for me to put Earl Morrall in the top 5.
Well, they've got
even
him.
though he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Ranker.com's got him at 3.
I'll put him at.
We're at number 4 right now. We're at number 4. Who else do you think's in the top 5?
I guess he belongs
On
at number
Ranker.
4 because he
Who's
did help
that?
the team win a Super Bowl.
Earl Morrall?
Yeah,
Well, he's at 3 on their list.
not for me. They're wrong.
And you're saying Jay Fiedler is in the top 5.
Yeah.
And you're wrong.
Oh, come on.
He's
Who
at
do they
number
have
6.
See, that's garbage. Who do they have at 4?
That's the question.
Oh,
You got 2 more in the top 5.
Ron Jaworski. No, I was kidding. Man, who would they put at number 4?
Yeah.
Would it be Ryan? Would it be Tannehill? Is he in the top 5 for them?
Tannehill, I'll give you, is at number 5.
Okay.
Okay, so you're one off on that.
Because I put him at number 5.
So who else is left? I've given you 5 of the top 6 Dolphins quarterbacks of all time, according to what people were saying FanSite Ranker.
Brian Greasy?
Brian Greasy, 1 year, 2003, is at number 9.
Okay.
He's a quarterback from 75 to 83.
75 to 83.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
Put in some time.
Yeah.
13 years.
Whoa. 75 to 83. So that was after Bob Greasy, after Earl Morrall. Who was the quarterback in that time?
Yeah.
I'm actually drawing a blank on this one. This
Okay.
is, yeah.
8 years, actually. Don
years.
Strock.
Oh, Don Strock.
Don Strock.
Of course.
Yeah. Don Strock, they got in at number 4.
How can I forget about? Yeah, he belongs in there. Absolutely.
They've got David Woodley at number 7.
What?
I know, because what I think that's so wrong, Chad Pennington, they have down
Yeah.
at number 8. But, I mean, Pennington had a pretty solid year, didn't he? I mean, he was almost player of the year.
Right? He was almost MVP, took them to the playoffs. They didn't win the game. They lost to the Ravens, but
Right.
still took them there.
They even got Matt Moore at number 10.
Oh, my God. That is
Matt
so
Moore.
sad.
And they've got him 7 spots ahead of Chad Henne.
Chad Henne was so bad.
They've got Chad Henne at 17, Jay Cutler at 22.
Is that last place?
No, right down at the
Really?
bottom's Dante Culpepper,
I was going to say.
27.
Man, and that does not bode well for Dante Culpepper because don't forget you had Cleo Lemon, you had Ray Lucas, you had Gus Farrat,
Yeah.
all in the mix here over the past
Awful.
15 years.
But then, I mean, you got Culpepper too. I mean, the thing he's always going to be known for with Dolphins fans is he's the reason why you don't have
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Yep. Changed the
Absolutely.
entire history of the organization.
Completely did.
Thanks
yeah.
a lot, Nick Saban.
Well, Michael Irvin finds himself in a familiar place, hot water. I don't know what validity is to this, but he is one of 2 former NFL players named in a sexual harassment lawsuit filed by a
boy.
former NFL Network employee. NFL Network, I don't know what's going on there, but they got some problems. This is the second sexual harassment lawsuit that they've had filed against their network. And you might remember West Palm Beach's very own Heath Evans.
Right.
Kings Academy guy.
Yeah, I remember him, sure.
He was named in the first one with Marshall Falk and Ike Taylor.
And he's gone, right? Ike Taylor's gone. Heath Evans is gone.
I don't know. In fact, I was looking for an update on that. Now, the story broke in December, and I was looking for any kind of update. In fact, I just even went to Heath Evans' Twitter, and I've been trying to follow him, see what's going on with him. He's lifting an assload of weights. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a professional wrestler.
Oh, gosh.
But he still has on his Twitter the whole backdrop of him on the NFL Network set. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but yeah, I haven't seen anything of him on there. So I don't know what's going on with that.
I haven't either. I mean, maybe we're both wrong about this. Maybe we just haven't watched enough NFL Network to really
I would,
know.
I would love to confidently be able to clear Heath Evans. He's, from my experience with him, he's a solid dude, does great stuff. Even though he's, been in LA for a couple years, he's great whenever he comes back to the community. So, yeah, I'm hoping that, there was nothing to that. But Michael Irvin's going to have to go through this. This suit claims that Michael Irvin was told not to touch the victim. And he also made inappropriate gestures and comments to her once and grabbed her waist. So,
Is this, I hate to
I
say
don't
this, but is it really that hard to believe if this is true?
no, I mean,
couldn't we see this
if you
being
want
true?
to go, if you want to go all the way back to his playing days with the Canes,
Right.
I mean, Michael Irvin's rap sheet is long, just with stuff that he's been mixed into. So, yeah, he's been clean for a while, right? I mean, well, no, he has not actually.
You
Gosh,
just remembered some
love
of the things.
it. Yeah. No, what was it? He had.
He had a DUI not too long ago, didn't he? I mean, I hate to
No,
falsely accuse him, but that's
one,
not true.
The one I was thinking of was most recently. No, someone had accused him of sexual assault. Remember that was a family friend?
That's right. Yes.
How long ago was that? That wasn't long ago at all.
Maybe a few years ago. And this is another thing where you add into it. And again, is it the culture with the NFL Network where you have all these former NFL players? Like they bring over the culture of the NFL locker room and you have all these females around
Let me
you?
just give you a quick little rundown. Yeah, 2017 sexual assault investigation. Fort Lauderdale police investigated Irvin for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman in Florida on March 22nd. He denied the
Oh,
allegations.
geez, this is last year.
They announced that they had closed the investigation, would not charge Irvin in the case. Okay, so again, charged, but nothing comes out of it.
Got it
So who
taken
knows what
care of.
happens to that? 2007 sexual assault allegation.
Oh, boy.
1998 Scissorgate.
What? What is...
Scissorgate.
What did we just stumble upon here? I feel like someone's going to walk in here with like the Men in Black are going
He
to shut us
assaulted
down.
a fellow Cowboys offensive lineman, stemmed over Irvin waiting for a haircut. That was 98 Scissorgate. Then in 96, another sexual assault allegation.
So that's 3. And this marks 4 in the past 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff. So, that's just it. I mean, the
That's what I'm saying.
smoke, there's fire kind of thing. So,
Is it really that hard to believe?
no, when you've got this many cases wrapped
Right.
around you, not hard at all. Now, one of the big headlines today is, will Des Bryant wind up with the Cleveland Browns? And some of the discussions about it, one, is it a good fit? They got Landry Jones, former Dolphin, who's
Yep.
there, which is a position receiver.
Right. Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. Landry Jones. Yeah, Jarvis Landry. I haven't slept in a while.
Oklahoma QB.
Yeah, I know. Jarvis Landry is there. You've got a position receiver here in Des Bryant, but there's apparently a lot of allegations that I was unaware of that's swimming around him as well.
Dez? See,
Yes.
I mean, for me, I've always seen him just be like the quote-unquote disruptive locker room guy. There's actually...
Yeah, I was watching Chris Carter talking about it today, and there's a couple of things that are apparently swimming around him that maybe some front offices are looking at and saying, do we want that kind of headache? Would he be good or bad for the development of Baker Mayfield if you bring him in? Does that make it harder on him, having a veteran guy, or does it help him out? So, seems like a no-brainer, but it is kind of odd that we're this close to the season and still nobody's picked up Des Bryant.
No one has signed him.
Yeah.
It
Gotta
is-
wonder if maybe he's looking back at that Ravens deal thinking maybe he should have taken it.
Yeah, for real. And like you said, is there something out there that we don't know about? It's weird.
Got a little bit more football before we get to some Yankees talk and a little bit about Jeter's squirrely gambling ways.
So bad.
Best quarterbacks in college football for this season.
I'm ready.
Who are they ranking at the top spot? We'll let you know next.
You can tell his wife. Just don't tell those other guys. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, there's a couple big interesting quarterback battles happening in college before we get through camps and into the season. Florida Gators have got their own. They've got a good, solid amount of options, though. They've got Felipe Franks, which right now is the slim favorite to win the starting job for the Gators over Emory Jones.
Now, who was the one that transferred from, was it Ohio State or Michigan that transferred to Florida? It was someone that we had talked about.
I thought he would. That was Joe Burrow, who
Okay.
wound up transferring from Ohio State to LSU instead.
So he's going to play against the Miami Hurricanes. Great. Okay.
Possibly,
Fantastic.
yeah. If he gets the starting job. Now, this is the odd thing about some of the odds that are going on here with Vegas, because you can lay money on this.
Right.
But there are two quarterback battles that they've taken off the board due to some one-sided action. Too many people laying bets on it. Now, maybe there's some insider information. They don't know. One is the Joe Burrow winning the job at LSU. And so they've taken that one down. You can't bet on that one anymore. So,
funny.
But it seemed like he was actually in a pretty tight race with someone who was already in the program. So I don't know what's going on with that, who's going to get the nod at LSU. But I'm telling you, from what I've seen, Joe Burrow, he's got 3 years experience at Ohio State. Guys can run. He's got a cannon for an arm. His dad's a college coach.
I don't like the sound of this because that game against LSU for Miami to start off the season is one of those games where, it could... I hate to say it's going to make or break the season, but it's a big game.
Well, it's a solid debate because now you look at this and it just keeps hanging like a fart in the air is the game that happened last year with Florida State and Alabama. And how devastating that turned out to be. Now,
Right.
you can debate, okay, maybe Florida State was actually a paper tiger and they shouldn't have folded the way they did just because you lose one player. It's got to be next man up. But Blackman... I don't know. Clearly wasn't ready, or the rest of the team wasn't ready to support him. I don't know. But Florida State had, for them, not a good season. Now, is it because they scheduled too hard to start off, or would they have had those problems otherwise? Yeah, you're right. The Canes, this is one that could really set the tone for what you got to do.
It could, and now they have to go up against this kid most likely in Joe Burrow. And, look, we don't know how he's going to be. I know you've seen the guy a lot because he was an Ohio State guy. You know what he can offer. So what you've told me about him kind of scares me because he sounds like he's really good.
He's very capable. But now he doesn't have a ton of reps. That's the thing you're looking at. And when he
right.
got in, he was getting garbage time. So he wasn't, facing good teams, good defenses. So, he's still, you don't know.
Can he run? Is he mobile?
He
See,
can.
that's not good for Miami because they have always had trouble. Now, last year, to be fair.
And he's a big boy, too.
Great.
He's big and mobile.
Great. because they've always had trouble stopping the mobile quarterback. They were better at it last year, but just for some reason, notoriously, they've had trouble stopping a quarterback who can run and scramble out of the pocket.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what LSU puts around him. And I don't know a ton. I mean, I know the history. LSU has a history of having really good receivers, really good defense, and they'll bring out a good running back. You know, and usually the big question around LSU is their quarterback. I mean, how many dominant quarterbacks have you had come out of LSU?
I can't think of one off the top of my
you
head.
got to go all the way back.
Ones,
you got to go all the way back to the slob that got drafted and turned into a bust for the Raiders.
Jamarcus Russell, that's right. Let's just refer to him as a slob. That's better.
Yeah, well, he's a very forgettable person because of what he did for the Raiders. So, yeah, that's the last dominant quarterback that LSU has had. The other one-sided action that happened, they took off the board, was at Michigan. They've got the transfer from Ole Miss. Shea Patterson was a 5-star going to Ole Miss. But, you know, a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is where Harbaugh's finally going to put Michigan on the tracks with this quarterback. They got a 5-star. But, you know, the Bear, Chris Felica, he just tweeted this out today. In 8 career games against Power 5 opponents, Shea Patterson is throwing 14 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And if you look at tougher opponents, like your Alabama and your Auburn and teams like that he played, it was 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Ooh.
His quarterback rating is like a 43.
Ooh.
So
not good.
No, not good stuff. I mean, not 5-star kind of numbers you'd expect.
The Bear putting the truth out there.
It was a little truth bomb for you. So I don't know. Is this really going to be the quarterback that Harbaugh's been waiting for at Michigan?
Can I ask you something? And I know obviously you're an Ohio State guy, so without being biased, is Harbaugh in trouble this year if they don't win at least 10 games?
Big time.
Right?
They're 1-5 against their rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State. Has not beaten Ohio State yet.
Right.
And Penn State is an Ohio State fan. That's who I fear the most. Penn State is recruiting at a very high level.
Wisconsin? But you wouldn't see them until the Big Ten title.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But Penn State has got that stadium, and Ohio State's going to be part of the whiteout. You got to face that's the largest stadium in America. Nasty crowd at night with a whiteout. And according to USA Today, they have the #1 quarterback in college football with Trace McSorley.
That's right. Trace McSorley's coming back.
They put him at #1 for the best quarterbacks in college football. So for me as a Buckeye fan, most afraid of them. Then possibly, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Michigan right now is probably the 4th. And right now, I'm a little bit scared of what Scott Frost might do with Nebraska.
Wow.
He's got a few players.
So
he turned UCF around in no amount of time. So for me as a Buckeye fan, Michigan is maybe 4th on the list, maybe 6th.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they fall in that. And that, look, that's what I'm saying.
I have no fear of Harbaugh in Michigan.
And that's what doesn't bode well for Harbaugh and
Right.
all the Michigan fans, because you're talking about a guy who might actually be on the hot seat, a guy in Harbaugh.
You should be, because some programs, when Scott Frost goes to UCF, that is a program you've got to turn around. When you go to one of these elite programs, it shouldn't be that kind of turnaround where you need 3 to 4 years, because your recruiting base is still going to be solid with who they had in there before. And the same thing with Michigan. Solid recruiting base. Harbaugh got some good recruiting classes. So it should be flip the switch, put in my own schemes, and then boom, we take off, baby. I mean, he's too far into this thing to have another bad year. This is it.
Is this his 4th year or 5th year coming up?
4th year coming up.
Yeah.
I think, right? No, I don't know how many times he lost to Ohio State. It's a lot. Too many to count.
He hasn't beat him, so.
Yeah. Some of the other top quarterbacks that they've got here, UCF, their quarterback they got, Mackenzie Milton, is ranked 2 by USA Today. NC State's quarterback, number 3, Will Grier, who was a former Florida Gator, transferred to West Virginia, is number 4. And then Jarrett Stidham at Auburn, they got it number 5. Now, talking about the Gators, Felipe Franks got the nod over Emory Jones to take it, Kyle Trask, and Jake Allen, who, if I remember right, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, that name does sound familiar. I think you're right about that.
I thought he had transferred out of the Gator program. I thought, but I could be wrong on that. But that's going to be the big thing. Felipe Franks, who's been there. Emory Jones was actually a Buckeye commit. 4 to 5-star kid. Dual threat. Solid player. Would look great in the Gators offense with what they're going to do.
That should be a team that comes back up this year.
I think so. I think Gator fans, honestly, got to be optimistic. I think actually all the Florida teams do. I mean, I don't know of one that you like. I think Canes, I think you got to feel good. I think Florida State should feel like we can't do worse than we did last year.
That's for sure.
UCF still looks pretty solid.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. It sounds crazy to say. I mean, if we said this 5 years ago, I think we're crazy. But September 21st, UCF against FAU is one of the games I'm looking forward to the most to start off the season.
Oh, it's going to be a phenomenal game.
It's going to be incredible to watch.
And, I mean, you say, well, Scott Frost is gone, but I'm telling you, Hypo, who they brought in from Missouri as the offensive coordinator, I don't think they're going to fall off at all. I think he's an exciting coach, knows the game, runs a fast-paced, exciting offense, which is going to draw people to UCF.
Right?
Oh, I think it's going to be a phenomenal game.
And he played under Stoops at Oklahoma. I mean, it's not like they weren't putting up points when he was the quarterback.
Right,
there.
exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of real... Man, gosh, I'm ready for football to go.
Isn't it great?
It's so good.
Finally, we've been waiting for this time since we started the show back in February. Like, if we can just make it to the end of July,
right,
we can start talking college football, we'll be all good. Finally
so much
here.
Good stuff going on. Call up Leo. It's about time to get in here and talk a little bit about
He's disappeared.
Yankees.
I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know with Leo.
2 days in a row. Leo, come on, man.
Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that things are going bad for the Yankees and we can't find Leo?
Yeah, things aren't going good. But what I like most out of this is a little bit of insight into Derek Jeter's personality. Apparently, he's a little bit of a gambler, but how he paid off his debts is fascinating. We'll talk about it next.
It's Derek Jeter's favorite sports show, just like Derek Jeter is Florida's favorite owner. Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Derek Jeter. Like, who is this guy? What is this guy?
Jeez.
What does he mean for the Miami Marlins? As a Marlins fan, I'm trying to look at what he did all the way through his playing days, the University of Michigan, championships, many World Series with the Yankees, the leadership, everything he did. Man, clutch. Just seemed to get there. It tells me is a Marlins guy. If I believe that he really cares about the Marlins, then I need to believe in Derek Jeter, right? I need to believe in him.
I mean, I guess.
I got to think he's going to be doing something good. But yeah, I still just don't know what to think of Derek Jeter. And a big part of it is the fact that my favorite Marlins player, he comes in right away and sends him to his old team. So right away, I'm a little suspect of this cat. Now, I don't know if you can take anything out of this about the personality of Derek Jeter, but pitcher Phil Hughes was with the Yankees from 2007 to 2013. So he spent a good couple years with Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
And he was on talking a little bit about what it was like playing with Jeter. Said, yeah, he wasn't the most outgoing teammate. But, every now and then he'd jump in a little bit of the fun. He would do some small wagers. We'd have some gambling that'd be going on. And so he talked a little bit on Pardon My Take, the podcast, exactly how Jeter would pay off his debts when he would lose.
He had this thing. He liked to do small little wagers every now and then. But he was such a competitor that if he lost, he would pay you in pennies.
That's
Sick.
amazing. So what? What would you guys bet on?
So it'd be like $100 on something stupid, like I don't know, college football game that's going on or something.
Right.
And if he lost, he would literally have a bag of pennies.
That's amazing.
The next day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't $1. It was $100.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of pennies. Yeah, that's a lot of pennies.
Yeah, he probably had to send someone to a bank and a special request and pay you in pennies.
Sick. Come on.
Well, you know what? That's a passive-aggressive move. That's really what it is. I mean, it's passive-aggressive saying, okay, yeah, you won, but I'm going to make you feel like you lost.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, he's, a really big competitor. It's just, do you like this, though, knowing that a guy who's willing to pay $100 in pennies because he lost a bet?
It's kind of a bitch move, isn't it? It's kind of a bitch move, right?
That he's a part of the Marlins organization?
Yeah, it seems passive-aggressive.
Jeez.
So this is what he's going to do.
I mean, there are times where, if you are, with my brother or my sister, and I owe them money because they bought me a meal, and I'll do, a Chase Quick Pay or a Zelle or something like that. Yeah. And I, on purpose, shortchange them a penny. So if I owe them, $20, I'll, send them $19.99.
Because you feel like you won.
Yeah, just to be a jerk. This is it. But this is, $100?
So is this a statement on Derek Jeter's competitiveness? That even when he loses, he still is going to try to find a way to walk away like he won. And by doing that, he's going to pay you in pennies. By the way, $100 in pennies, that's 10,000 pennies. And if you want to roll that up, that's 200 rolls.
I mean,
it's not even worth it. At that point, you're going, dude, just keep the money. I mean, so when you do a wager with somebody where after winning, you're like, you know what, keep it. Then, something's happened.
I mean,
is he smart? Is he tactical? Is this the kind of guy you want in the Marlins front office? Or is he a little bitch where you're going, I don't want that kind of guy running my franchise? No. I don't know if this is genius or if I'm disgusted by this move.
It's diabolical, and it's a jerk move altogether, because here's the thing. Not only are you paying off your debt with a bag of pennies, because that's how I imagine Jeter walking in like the Monopoly guy, where he just has a bag of coins over his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine it. But now he also has to go to the bank, or probably have a person go to the bank for him, and now bother the bank teller to get 200 rolls of pennies for him.
You've ultimately screwed this guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's
You're
totally what
screwing
you've done.
everybody around you involved with the situation.
So have you won at that point? Do you walk away saying you're a winner, or are you just an unlikable little bitch in the locker room?
I go with the choice B.
Choice B.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you got running the Marlins then. That's what you're choosing.
Yep.
Instead of a guy that is a beautiful tactician that even in losing, he still wins.
Now, I will say this. If he did this with somebody like, Jorge Posada, then it's cool, because they were close by all accounts, right? They were pretty good friends in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that with your friend, just to kind of jab him a little bit, say, hey, yeah, you beat me, but here you go. Here's 10,000 pennies. Then I could see it being, just a funny prank. But if you're just paying off a bet, like if it's to Phil Hughes, a guy that he probably didn't talk to that much in the clubhouse, then it's just a jerk move.
Is he doing this just because it's Phil Hughes? I mean, where do you rank Phil Hughes on the list of Yankees greats?
It's like the Dolphins quarterbacks. Where does he rank?
Yeah.
Phil Hughes on the Dolphins.
Phil Hughes. Is he going to do that with A-Rod? Pay
Right.
A-Rod in pennies? I don't know. Phil Hughes, you get pennies. Yankees got some issues. Leo was in here, and I'm surprised he's missing this. He must have something really pressing. Leo, our boss, diehard Yankees fan, loves to bitch about when they're doing awful. And they lost to the Rays again yesterday, 3-2.
2 out of 3 to the Rays.
And I was talking to Leo today, and he's still pissy about Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez expected to miss a month
Yeah.
because of that groin injury. And, I was even seeing a case yesterday they were talking about, sometimes these groin injuries never heal. Right. I mean, sometimes it could be a year for a groin injury. So, I mean, a month, I don't know if that's anything about it. But, the Yankees do have a solid backup. Sanchez is hitting 180 and change. Doesn't have a massive amount of home runs. He's not looked great.
Right.
So Leo was like, flip that switch, baby. Maybe it's time they got to reconsider keeping Sanchez on the roster.
I just saw him walk by, too, and I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
There he is. Here comes Leo, because, and this, I want to get his answer on this.
Well, because, what he was saying, great timing with Sanchez, is if you're a Yankees fan, do you start questioning who your catcher of the future is? Is it still Sanchez says, okay, he's got to go on ahead and just kind of get this growing injury out of the way? Do you feel good about how he comes back?
there's the Leo sigh. Mm-hmm. So sad. I don't like to see you sad, Leo.
Well, I mean, listen, when Sanchez first came up, there was all this excitement. I mean, the guy had 20 home runs in a month and a half, and he was the catcher of the future, and he had all this offensive explosion. And then last year he was injured and still hit 33 home runs, and there was some stuff that was going on defensively, but he had a lightning bolt arm, and he threw guys out of second, and he just seemed to be able to command the pitchers. And then this year, it's I don't know what's going on. He looks like he's probably gained a little weight.
Yeah, a little bit.
He gets into moments in the game where it seems like he's just not paying attention anymore. I don't know if he gets bored, if he's thinking about hot dogs. I don't know what's happening. I feel like he just, you're sitting there, you're calling the game, and yet you're still getting crossed up with signs and what pitch is coming. How many pass balls have gone on, and they always end up being catastrophic. It's like when there's a pass ball, it's some guy scores from second, or that means that the guy didn't strike out, and that makes the inning go longer, and now the next guy hits a home run. And it's always something that makes it really damaging. And he just doesn't seem to, care.
Well,
it's crazy.
And I think that's it. I think that's why people are questioning even this growing injury right here, because of the way he was acting. And you've seen people that have had injuries, and they have a look of determination, and you can see that their body won't cooperate, and the frustration. You didn't see that in the body language with Sanchez with this, and that's why people are questioning this injury and the future of him as a Yankees catcher.
Okay.
Is he actually injured?
Let's do it this way. If, and that's a massive if, I was to believe that he really did re-aggravate his groin.
Mm-hmm. They're talking about a month. You're gonna fake it for a month?
The only place that would have happened would have been when he decided to speed up at the last second because he knew that he had dogged it out of the box on that last play.
Yeah.
And then when he realized, oh my God, and he tried to kick it into another gear, that would have been the place that he could have re-aggravated it. But that does not excuse the two pieces of laziness in that game. See, what the Yankees are trying to say is, well, of course he didn't go run after the ball in the first inning, and of course he didn't run down the line because of the groin was re-aggravated. No, it wasn't. Yeah, because when he was running out of that box, that was not a limp. That was a jog. Oh, and then he started to go.
I think that's what. Didn't I hear like somebody had said that's what they were blaming it on? They said that's where he injured it was on that play
when he decided to speed up. Oh no,
yeah,
no, because
they had said that, and then my question is what you had said the other day was, okay, if you did injure it on that play and you can't go on, that's the point where you take yourself out of the game, right?
Not only that, but if you've injured your groin to where you have to now be out for a month, which means that's a pretty good strain.
Yeah.
You're not squatting for the next 8 innings.
Right.
I'm sorry. If you've not been somebody out there, and God bless you if you haven't, if you've never pulled a groin, you know nothing what I'm talking about. It is not comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not something that you can sit down there and squat for the next 8 innings.
There's no way that happened there.
I honestly, if you want me to tell you what I truly believe is happening, this is a dude, go get it together, make a decision. I don't know, go to fat camp, lose some weight, come back here and tell us whether you want to be part of this organization or not, because we are still a few weeks away from the deadline. And that deadline doesn't mean that that's it. I mean, look, you've got all the way until August, so we could slide you over to the available side real quickly if you don't want to be here.
Think he's a movable piece right now,
At
though,
this point, yes.
or is he killed his value so much with his numbers, which are not good, with his attitude, which is horrible, and with even possible injuries? How valuable is Sanchez right now on the market?
I mean, again, this is a guy that's got elite power for a catcher.
Elite potential.
He's got 14 home runs this season, which I still believe leads all catchers in MLB. His batting average isn't great, but again, this is the year of crappy batting averages. Like I said, you hit 220 right now in MLB, you're like a superstar. I mean, how many of those all-stars were hitting like that?
Yeah.
So, look, he's got a lightning arm. If he can work on his defense, this guy has all the potential in the world to be an elite catcher.
Sure.
If he cares.
Okay.
And that's what it comes down to. By the way, the same thing happened to another guy by the name of Miguel Cabrera. This is the same thing. Remember Miguel?
Yeah.
Had a DUI. The dude was chunky, and he was still one of those guys you're like, this guy, if he ever decides to give a crap about MLB, he will be amazing. What did he have? Like back-to-back batting title?
He really did turn it on after that part.
I think he has the potential to do that.
Won the Triple Crown.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's hope.
Okay. Hoping for Sanchez. Yankees need to turn around. They need to get back to their winning ways because Red Sox seem to keep doing great.
They don't lose.
Well, you can check us out on YouTube. Just go for the KVJ Show. Find us there. We got the podcast, Kevin's Other Show, and find us on Twitter.
To him on the KVJ Show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.